Hello everyone, my name is Steven, and I can prove to you that God is real. But before we get into this, I want to ask you a question. What do you think is a God? Okay, some of you don't know. So just to clarify, the God I'm going to be talking about is the God that created the universe, like the creator of all things, not like specific gods like Zeus or Poseidon. And there's this word you gotta understand. It's called contingent. Okay, contingent means something that is depending on something else for it to exist. For example, I exist because my mom gave birth to me. But it's not only that. It's that the right amount of air on this planet, the right amount of heat on this planet, and the right amount of carbon dioxide on this planet. Those very tiny little things makes what I am today. But then again, those tiny things also need other tiny things for them to exist. And so this being said, I believe that this entire universe needs something else for it to exist itself. Everything in this universe is contingent. So let's imagine this as a set of every contingent thing. But if it's contingent, then the very beginning of the set needs to have a creator. Something needs to create it. So we have four possibilities. One, it does not require a cause at all, which means it just pops into existence and doesn't need a cause. Two, it requires a cause that is all its units, which means that it's causing itself. That means I cause myself to exist, which doesn't make any sense. Three, it requires a cause that is sum of its units. That means something in this entire set is creating everything else. But then again, it's not part of the set anymore, because it still needs something else to create it. And four, it requires a cause external to its units. That means it's different from the contingent things. It isn't contingent. It's a necessary existence. For example, it's like everything in this universe exists. But if that necessary existence doesn't exist, then the entire universe shouldn't exist as well. For example, if my mom gave birth to me and I exist, but if my mom doesn't exist but I exist, that doesn't make any sense, right? Same thing with this. If the universe exists but this necessary existence doesn't exist, it doesn't make any sense. So this thing, this necessary existence, it has to exist. Alright, in case you're wondering who this guy is, he's Albert Einstein. And what's he saying? Hey, what's my explanation for God? Well, he also has an explanation for God. This is what it is. He said that I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists, not in a God who concerns himself with fate and actions of human beings. So he is saying that God is living with us. He's living with everything created in this universe. But then that doesn't make sense a lot, because if he's existing with our universe, then he is part of the set. He's contingent, right? Because we're saying that God created the beginning of the universe. And in case you don't know who Spinoza's God is, this is what she thinks of God. She said that God is one infinite substance who possesses an infinite number of attributes, each expressing an eternal aspect of his or her nature. To simplify this, she's saying that God is one infinite substance. But the substance is created long after the Big Bang, which is the beginning of the universe. So that God is also a part of contingency now. So we have God. We have science God and religious gods. Religious gods, they could exist, but I feel like science God, it kind of has a higher possibility. So Albert Einstein's God and Spinoza's God doesn't make a lot of sense, but our necessary existence is more logical, and frankly speaking, this one makes more sense. But God can't just be whatever you imagine it. God has to be beyond time and space. He doesn't have a body or form, hence that would be contingent. He's simple without any part, and he doesn't share species with anything created in this world. But wait a minute. The beginning of the universe is the Big Bang, right? And what created the Big Bang? Energy, right, energy. Energy is wavelengths. And wavelength doesn't have a body or a form. It's simple without any parts. what if that wavelength, the energy, is God himself? All right. In conclusion, God is a necessary existence. He has to exist for everything else in this universe to exist. Thank you for listening.